Welcome to the channel. This is going to be my um, review slash opinion of the new Disney Star Wars property called the Acolyte. Um, the first two episodes dropped on Disney Plus, so you do need a Disney Plus subscription to see it. And I just watched them both tonight, which is the 4th of June, and I'll give you my opinion of it. Just for a bit of background, I'm somebody who enjoys science fiction and enjoys Star Wars universe. Um, I've seen most of the Star Wars live action stuff. I've enjoyed some of it, and some of it I haven't. So that's what I'm coming from. I'm not a fanboy, but I'm also not somebody that just wants to criticize everything. And even though I do sort of agree that Disney is spoiling Star Wars, I'm not somebody that hates on them automatically. So I watched the first two episodes, and if you want my opinion, it's not bad. It's not horrible. It's not garbage or anything like that. It was enjoyable enough that I'm looking forward to this episode 3 next Tuesday. Um, Maybe that's a fault on my part, but I I didn't think it was bad. Um, I thought it was okay. It's a little bit slow. It's kind of yeah. It starts off a little bit slow, even though there's a big fight at the start of it. It still um, is a bit slow as they get going. And do you need to have seen other Star Wars properties? Yes, because you won't know what the hell's going on otherwise. Um, so basically, no spoiler here, I don't think, but the show is apparently done. It's telling of Star Wars from the bad guy side, which is actually an interesting thought. I always, you see the Darth Maul character or some of the Palpatine, the baddie from the movies. Um, he's a Sith, which is the opposite of the Jedi. They're evil. So this show is supposed to be told somewhat from their side, which again, like I said, that's kind of an interesting concept. How well they'll do, I can't say. It's a bit too early for it, but yeah. So the story it does have some promise. Um, CGI and the look of the show is fine. It actually looks good. They did have a bigger budget than some of the other shows. The only thing I would say about it is that this is supposed to be 100 years before most of the other stuff we've seen. Everything looks exactly the same as if Luke Skywalker could walk on out a doorway or something. Um, I kind of would have thought that if it's 100 years in the past, that maybe the tech would be 100 years out of date or less advanced, let's say. But it at least doesn't take you out of the world too much. Um, First two episodes, there's a lot of combat, but not with lightsabers, and that's a negative for me because if I'm going to see a show about the Jedi and the Sith, I want to see freaking lightsabers. I want to see sharks with laser beams on their heads. But yeah, so the lightsabers get drawn a little bit, but they're not particularly used. There's not even a lot of yeah. It's kind of a not very good martial arts movie to start with, where the main weapons are knives, daggers, throwing knives. Um, so you get very stylized fighting, lots of very obviously doing moves, choreographed fight sequences where you don't even get near the person's face you're supposed to be fighting. Little obvious, kind of reminded me of Daredevil and Echo fighting, and I thought that was bad. Um, but it is action packed and stuff. Um, so it could be again. I would prefer to see the traditional weapons of the main or title characters, which are the Sith and the Jedi's, used more than they are. Um, so that's kind of the fighting in it. Yeah, I thought it was kind of okay. Here's another one of these um, movies where they want to, you know, they want to do martial arts as part of it. Maybe they maybe they didn't couldn't pay their electric bill for the lightsabers or something. I don't know. Um, the acting, the acting is okay. The main character is again one actress playing a pair of twins. That works. She's able to carry it off, so good for her. Carrie Ann Moss, I like her from The Matrix. She does come across as like a powerful Jedi, even though she gets killed really, really easily, as far as I'm concerned. Um, the other sort of main character, you find out in the show, again, they're telling you a lot of stuff that kind of is important, but the bad twin wants to kill four Jedis. You kind of get that she's doing it at somebody else's control because you see a guy, again, they show it to you in the first two episodes. It's a guy with a red lightsaber, which means he's bad, which he's probably the Sith. Um, so again, they're kind of giving away stuff fairly. If it's supposed to be sort of a murder mystery, a police drama, although why the Jedi are supposed to be just beat cops almost is beyond me. But if you're making it kind of a mystery, it doesn't help to sort of give away a lot of the mystery fairly early. You find out that the bad twin is being controlled by somebody. You find out that she's chasing and wants to kill four Jedi. Um, you find out that one of those is the guy from Squid Games, who's a Jedi Master, and actually was a teacher for the good twin. But yeah, so they give a lot of away. I don't know. I kind of think that the story then is just going to be confrontation with the Sith, which wouldn't be a bad thing, but just depends on how they handle it. Um, so yeah, that's somewhat of a limitation. Um, out of 10, 6 out of 10. It's not horrible. Like I said, I enjoyed it enough that I'll be watching the rest of the episodes. And if you like Star Wars, I would think you'd probably like this too. So that was the actors again. In most part, the main characters are good. The ancillary characters are a bunch of morons. I don't remember the Jedi being such a bunch of goofs or such a bunch of ineffective, limp characters. Although they never sense that Palatine is taking over as the Emperor, so maybe they are just a bunch of morons. There's some dialogue between the Squid Games guy and a Jedi master back at the temple, and it's all about following the rules and doing this and doing that, and we have to have a consultation. They talk about next steps, which is kind of like, okay, that's what you hear when people are trying to debug software or something like that. What are the next steps to resolve this issue? And it's like, okay. Um, so, anyways, but yeah, there's a lot of people talk about, Disney's gone DEI. Yeah, they do have a lot of. You don't see a lot of white males in this, which could be considered a good or bad thing at that. But yeah, a lot of the secondary characters are pretty useless, and maybe they're going to die later. Maybe that's why they don't want you to care about them or something like that. So that's sort of my thoughts on it in general. I'll go through, and this is going to be spoilers, so beware. Um, Starts off in a bar, looks typical Star Wars bar, lots of aliens and stuff like that. The bad twin shows up, although you don't know that she's a twin at that point. and challenges Carrie-Anne Moss's Jedi Master to a fight, which, as a Jedi would, she sort of declines, but then the bad twin forces the issue by attacking a bunch of other people. So Carrie-Anne Moss steps in, and then you get this hand-to-hand stuff and throwing a bunch of small throwing knives around. No lightsaber to be, well, eventually Carrie-Anne pulls it just to deflect some of the small knives. Um, but yeah, then it's like a John Wick fight. Um, Although the guns would have been welcome, but or just kind of thing you see in hand-to-hand combat. Lots of you know very stylized, very choreographed, not very realistic, and obviously you can see a lot of the holes in it when you see it. Anyways, the bad twin distracts Carrie-Anne Moss and then sticks her with the knife and kills her. Oh, okay. So there's a plot point that gets everything going. We see the other twin on another ship, so you kind of figure out, oh, okay, why does this person look exactly like the other person? And it doesn't. It takes a while for them to actually come out and say that there's potentially twins there. They think both the twins think the other one's dead, and find out in episode 2 they're not. But they show the good twin. She's a mechanic on a ship. Apparently, that's highly dangerous, although I don't know why. Um, they got to show the kitty toy thing. It's a little robot that's like a Palm Pilot that she can it could cook her lunch and all that. It can do everything. Um, you see that the people running the ship are from the sect that had all the battle droids from some of the movies, so that's kind of a throwback to fan service. They go out on a ship and they're making some repairs, and there's a small explosion and a fire. So I'm not necessarily the greatest on physics, but I kind of thought you couldn't have a fire in outer space where there's no oxygen. Anyways, they put it out, and then the ship shows up, and they arrest the good twin and take her away. Um, there's some scenes of training little Jedi, and the main male protagonist from the Squid Games actor from Squid Games, Jedi Master, happens to be he was a former teacher of the good twin before she dropped out of the Jedi Academy. He wants to go find out what's going on because they have identified the good twin as being the killer, not knowing about the bad twin, and that they've got her arrested. So he is told he can go. So he gathers up his Padawan and another guy, and it's like, okay, whatever. And they go off to find out, because on the good twin is on a prison ship where the other inmates, um, everything is droid controlled on it, which, okay, but that seems to be just so the writing can go ahead, that somebody in one of the cells can knock out the droids. If it was actually people piloting the ship, that wouldn't happen. Kind of the one thing, I don't know if it's intended or not, but there's a robot guard, and he looks to be just like the Cylons in the first, the old, or like the 70s version of Battlestar Galactica. Um, all I needed to see that little red light going back and forth on his face, but they don't have that. So they escape the ship, and the good twin doesn't. So this ship drops from high orbit to impact with the ground, and she does not suffer any injuries whatsoever because she uses seatbelts, and apparently seatbelts can save you in a more than just a car crash. In space, they can save you from dropping from you know what's geosynchronous orbit, miles up to the ground. Um, the Jedi show up. She runs away from the ship. They follow her and tell her that they believe in her when she says she didn't kill Carrie Ann Moss's character. So they are taking off, and the other baby Jedis don't really believe her as well, although it does kind of help her case that there's an attack on another planet of another Jedi by apparently the character who is the twin of. Now they don't know it's the twin. They kind of figure it out as they go that it's the evil twin, that maybe she's alive, not dead. But that kind of lets the good twin off the hook, and they go off to find out what's going on with this attack that fails on this other Jedi. They basically arrive there. The bad Jedi has got some poison, shows up after attacking sort of a sleeping Jedi or a guy that's meditating, and the bad Jedi, bad twin can't get to him because he's got like a force field around him. Okay. Um, so she gets poisoned and puts it on the floor and tells him that he needs to atone for his bad thing. So you get a little more piece of the puzzle that potentially there's been some bad stuff done by Jedi's to the twins. Anyways, he drinks the poison and he's dead. So the final part of the episode is they're trying to capture the evil twin on the planet, and the two twins see each other. Now they both know that the other one is alive. They do a shit job of trying to capture her, and she gets away. And the second episode ends with apparently the fourth Jedi that she has to kill, which is a Wookiee. So everybody can go, oh, it's a Wookiee. But you don't see anything more other than it's a Wookiee. And that's it. So not really doing it justice. It's interesting seeing all this stuff evolve. I have sort of given you spoiler points, but I still think you can watch the show without being um, too, or I've given you too much information. What you can see on the screen here is Carrie Ann Moss's character's lightsaber on the floor after she's been killed, and the bad twin kind of walking away. But in general, it was enjoyable enough that I'm going to watch more, and I would recommend it to people who like Star Wars. I think there's enough here that it's worthwhile watching. Okay, so that's it. That's my review and or overview or my opinion. I guess really it's my opinion more than anything else. Not necessarily. I'm not necessarily a big reviewer, but I just give you my opinion. And yeah, I think it's enjoyable watching. Okay, thanks.